The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a platform and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. This is a live recording from the Best You Expo. It's an interview between Brian Rose and myself. Brian interviewed me, and Brian is the founder and host of London Real, the new media and transformation company best known for its weekly live video talks with the greatest minds on the planet. And these talks have been watched over 250 million times. He's originally from California. Brian holds a degree in mechanical engineering, but he moved to England 16 years ago to be an investment banker in the city of London. After finding success in the world of banking, Brian had an epiphany while staying at Richard Branson's chalet in Switzerland. He hated his work, his life, and himself, so he resigned and he created London Real. But it wasn't that simple. His journey has been, full of pressure, like many of us have, and loads of struggles. But I've been a massive fan of Brian for a long time. I've seen his career grow. I've seen his channel grow. I've seen the phenomenal amount of people that he's interviewed. And obviously, I was honored to have him speaking at the Best You Expo, but I wanted the opportunity for him to interview me because, sometimes, you don't get that opportunity to be interviewed by Brian. So I enjoyed it thoroughly. I hope you do too. And thank you so much.
I'm really looking forward to talking to you today. First of all, I just wanted everybody to give you an applause for creating the Best You. Vance?
Thank you so much.
Come on.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
15,000 people signed up for this. This is your biggest one ever. Just wondering what your thoughts are. What is it like to watch something that you created and seeing all this positive energy come in here today? How does that feel?
You know what? It is a phenomenal experience because every year it's just been doubling in size, or it's just been getting bigger and more. If you walk, you've probably seen it. There's just people everywhere. We've got a problem, maybe. But the fact is that it's just beautiful to hear so many inspiring stories. Two ladies just stopped me now that they came to the Best You Expo last year for the first time, and the only thing that was difference between them and some of the speakers and exhibitors there is that they actually didn't take action, or they hadn't taken action yet to share their message. And they gave me their business card to say that that's it, they're ready, they're exhibiting and speaking next year. So it's just phenomenal because I've seen so many people either change their lives or transform their lives. We've been doing phobia cures on stage there just a minute ago, and I've had a lady coming for the last 4 years coming to say hello to the snake because, she got cured at the Best You Expo for the first year. So it's just a beautiful experience.
What's the biggest piece of advice you can give people here today? Because you've watched people transform over the years as they come to the different expos. If someone's here for the first time or the second time, what's the best thing they can do after all the energy they get from today to actually make this stick? Because a lot of people come to these events and then they go back to Monday, back to the same thing. You've seen the transformations happen. What can they do?
Well, I think that's the thing. The thing is, there's three types of people, I believe. There's those that, have given up. And some of them might be 27, 28, or 30, and they already think that they're giving up because they believe it's too late, or they're not living in the right location, or basically a bunch of excuses for them not to take action. Then there's those that read the books, attend the seminars like you guys, and then are just basically going to take all this information, you're literally going to do nothing with it. And there's loads of those. And then there's the third that those go out and go and inspire, go and make the world. And, that's the people we look up to. Those are the Tony Robbins of this world, yourself. These are all these phenomenal people that we look up to. So I think it's about the difference that makes a difference is simply about understanding that we're here for a reason. I called it the Best You because the reason is I believe that we're all ultimately responsible to become the best version of ourselves. If not, what are we doing here? We're so lucky and so blessed with where we live, with what we have, in comparison to so many other people or people with no limbs. You just name it. There's always someone worse than you. So it's about taking action. It's about talking less. It's about being honest. It's about asking yourself empowering questions and just going out there and kicking some ass. Because, this was an idea of mine 5-6 years ago. Everyone thought I was mad. So did I. And then we just carried on going and just carried on pushing. And you've got to push the boundaries. You've got to push the boundaries. And I'll just say this very quickly. I had an event manager in my Expo number 1. We finished. I didn't sleep for 4 months on the first one. And I'd done loads of events, but this was the biggest one. We had 3,000 people show up, 55 speakers, 55 exhibitors. This is 180, and we got 15,000 people. So we've obviously increased. But in that day, I finished, and I was having a drink, or 2 or 3, I don't remember. And I said to her, next year. And she said, Bernardo. She says, you have to be realistic. And the bottom line is that I answered, and I didn't even realize at the time, but I said, well, who establishes what realistic is? And the fact is that we all establish our own reality.
Yeah. A bunch of people came up to me earlier and they said, Brian, I feel like I'm being an imposter, that I don't have the confidence to make all of these changes. And you must see people come here and they just still feel like they're not the ones that can do it. And what do you usually say to those people?
Well, I think it is really down to understanding ultimately our mortality. And what I mean by that is...
That's dark, right?
Well, it is, but it's just
true,
the fact
though.
is it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's next week. It's 2019. Oh, no, hold on. It's 2020. I can't tell you how many speakers have submitted to speak at this event. Thousands and thousands and thousands. But only 100, 200 take action. The rest find millions of excuses for them not to do it. We probably had around 20,000 people pre-register, and only 12, 15,000 are going to show up. Where did the other 5,000 go? They found a reason why not to come, a reason not to change.
Yeah.
Because they believe that they can come next year. They believe that they can do it tomorrow. And the fact is that we're all mortals. We know we're mortals. We know we have a mortality and an expiry date. But at the end of the day, what are we doing to take action? And the fact is I've got to do it now, because it has to be now. Because I don't know if I can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a graveyard right next door to London Real Studios. It's called Bunhill Graveyard. And I always walk through there and I look at all these graves. They're from 200 years ago, 300 years ago. And I always think, what are those people in the graves, what do they wish they had done? Were they embarrassed by the thing they did? They're not embarrassed. They wish they had gone for it because it's all over. And I know that's a little dark, but the truth is we're all going to be in a box, sooner than later. Some of us sooner than later. So why not take action now? It's a really important part. And
why not fail now?
Yeah.
Who cares?
And what is this concept of failure as well? Says who?
Yeah.
The only reason you're here today and the reason I'm here today is because we both failed massively in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in creating an event like this, I'm sure you had setbacks over the years. But it's just about pushing forward and just trying to learn from the experience and to go for something bigger. What's it like to bring this to London? Because I'm from California. I can see a bunch of people in California wanting to be the best you, right? That's what we do. We're kind of crunchy. But in London, we typically drink a lot of beer here and, and hang out. Why is this working in such a big way now? Are we on a transformation wave, do you think?
I hope so. It's been tough, It's been really, really tough. This is, so literally on Monday, I will have the webpage updated. I would have done it today, but I've just been a bit tired. But we'll have the 2020 dates, and we start working tomorrow for next year.
Wow.
So it's a lot of work, it's commitment, but it's been tough. It's been tough. My parents are Spanish. I'm a son of an immigrant. I'm brought up in Spain. I consider myself Spanish. I'm bilingual, but I brought up in Spain. Background, real estate. Lost my money twice. Started all over again, 38. So, kind of for me, I've hit rock bottom many times. I've been an entrepreneur, so I know how dark and how lonely it can be. But I decided I wanted to do something different. I decided I wanted to really make something with my life, and I wanted to do something that had a bit more of a meaning, and that's where I came up with this idea of the best you. And the English crowd is tough. It's tough because, there's a lot, with the greatest respect, a lot of ungrateful people, I've invited a lot of people as guests over here, thousands of people. And, and we still get someone complaining that we didn't do this or didn't do that. And don't get me wrong, we're not perfect. And I know we're not. And I know we might make some mistakes. But we do this because we love. We love what we do. Everyone that's here, we love what we do. We put our heart, our soul, we put everything into it. So at the end of the day, it's been a tough crowd to crack. Trust me, I did my first one in Long Beach. It was my first expo. was I thought, if you're going to challenge yourself, why don't you challenge yourself to do 2 expos, one after the other? So that's what I did. Never do it again. But I did that. So I did my expo here on 15th, 16th of February, and then 24th, 25th of March I did in Long Beach in California.
Okay.
And we were an instant success. Everyone loved it. Everyone loves the Best You brand. Here I've been working very, very hard. So the results of what you see here today with thousands of people walking around these halls has been the work of, it's been tough work.
It's tough, but I feel like, exactly.
Thank you.
And I think certain cultures are more or less receptive to some of these ideas than others, but like we can't ignore, there is a global phenomenon when it comes to this change of this transformation message. And I've felt it at London Real, but 8 years ago when I started London Real in London, it was weird for a lot of people, you know? People are, when it comes to media, people are used to the news and the football matches and the sitcoms and all the stuff that just drains your brain. So when it comes to what you do and what I do, you know, the natural thing is resistance, you know? And so I'm sure for a lot of you, your friends probably think you're crazy, right? They're maybe at the park or doing all these other normal things. And what are you doing? You're going to the best you? What's wrong with the current you, right? And so, but we all know what we're doing here because you're going to look back a year from now and your friends are going to be doing the same things and you're going to be going to the next level and to the next level. And so I'm so glad you brought this in such a big way to London, you know, because again, usually it's something that we'd have to travel to another country to find.
If you're interested in finding your true purpose, if you're interested in finding your legacy, if you're interested in growing, if you are sick and tired of reading books that don't help you, haven't helped you, or are not helping you, or attending courses and seminars that haven't really had an impact in your life, I invite you to read my book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, out now. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing to the magazine, maybe speaking at any of our many events around the world, partnering or licensing The Best You, go to www.thebestyou.co.
What's your vision of what this looks like 5 years from now? Who is here? What are the kind of things people are learning? How big is it? And what's changed about the Best You brand?
Great question. Thank you. The problem I have is that my pictures are too big. Okay, so my pictures are just so phenomenally ridiculous that it's just like, it's scary. It's scary. In my mind, instantly, when I came up with the idea of the Best You, because I'm very visual, I started visualizing everything. And so I have to have expos all over the world. So we're going to be running expos all over the world. I have to potentially run, this is a very small event for me. For me, I want to have at least 50,000 people. I want to have a Glastonbury of the minds. That's what I want the Best You Expo to be. I want it to be a festival. The weather doesn't help, but I want it to be a festival where basically I've got, you know, tens of thousands of people and we have a stage with, with 4,000 or 5,000 people, you know, and then you've got music and then you've got, more spirituality going on. And so I want to have the expos having 50,000 people, but most importantly, I want to open the stream to people around the world so they can connect and say, I don't care if you're in Kenya, Nairobi, or you're down in Australia, New Zealand, you're literally connecting into every and each of these talks and they're seeing it live at home. So having these expos all over the place is where the brand's going. And, so I started that within LA. The expansion is obviously in the US for us. But apart from that, I'm really excited about my legacy clubs, which is where or how I intend to connect quicker globally by building smaller communities. I'm very, very excited about that.
Well, I just had Grant Cardone on my show, and he had 34,000 people in a baseball stadium talking about growth and these ideas. So
amazing.
It's amazing, and I look forward to this festival you're talking about, where we could actually go someplace, and it's not just about the music, but it's about all of this transformation. For people that have friends out there that were, didn't want to come here with them, or were unsure about it, what do you usually tell people to tell their friends when it comes to why they should come to the Best You Expo? Because if it's just telling them that they're going to get the better version of themselves, maybe they freak out.
Yeah.
How can people have these conversations with their family members? And how can even people go home after today and tell them what they learned and what they want to do differently about their lives?
Yeah, I think it's about, first of all, I think you guys have to be open to losing some of your friends, okay? Is that okay? All right. I've lost loads along the way. And for no other reason, it's just we're different individuals. You grow. People struggle with change, and I just think it's the most beautiful word, and one of the most beautiful words, because change simply means evolution. It means transformation. It means growing. It means life. That's what change means. We all have to change. We have to adapt to a new reality. How much has the world changed in the last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years? Thank God. If not, we'll still be, I don't know, hitting people with rocks and all sorts of things. So what it is that we have to be prepared and open to change, to create new realities for us. And if some people don't understand that, that's okay. I really believe it's okay. So try and bring them along if you can. Try and get them to understand that what we do and what we're doing here is very simple. All we're doing is we're just learning. That's what we're doing. We're opening our minds to something new. And it's very important for me. It was very important because I get niche. I understand that. Everyone's so niche focused. I hate niche. Why? I want to have a show where I can have 9, 10 different breakout rooms where you can learn anything and everything. You know what? Yoga is something I wanted to. Well, you go and do some yoga. And maybe you come with your kids, and that's what I wanted to see. I don't know if you've seen, there's loads of kids and loads of families coming along. That's what it has to be. We have to be open to learning. We have to be open to new ideas. And trust me, if they don't get it, find a new friend. There's plenty out there. I mean, there's 15,000 here.
Yeah, it's funny. When I started London Real, this is about 8 years ago, and I started a Facebook page. And back then, this was a new thing. And at one moment, about 6 months after the show, I noticed that none of my friends and family had actually liked the page. And I actually ended up calling up a few of them, and I said, you didn't even just click your mouse to do that. And I said, yeah, I've been really busy. I was like, have you watched one of the shows? They're like, I haven't had the chance. And I'm like, you realize this is everything I'm doing with my life right now? And they were like, yeah. And so I almost think that, if your friends and family think you're crazy, you're probably doing something right.
Yeah.
And their job is not always to support you. And the funny thing is 2 years later, when it became a hit, everyone was like, I knew you were going to be great. I always watched London Real. I was like, no, you didn't. And so...
and it was a one-day wonder.
Yeah, the one-hit wonder, yeah. But the truth is that you're going to have to alienate some people. And it's not because they don't love you. The reason they kind of want to keep you from taking these risks is because they don't want you to change into a person that is not going to want to be with them anymore.
Yeah.
So a lot of times mothers will say, don't leave the home or stay close to home. And when you start talking about crazy ideas, people don't want you to do it. And that's sometimes a sign that you're doing the right thing. And
Absolutely.
I would just encourage anybody to just go do that. Because once you transform, they'll come up to you and say, wow, look at you. You created a business, a new movement practice, new spiritual practice. Amazing. But they're going to make it hard in the short term sometimes.
One of the exercise, someone that I interviewed called Rose Savage, she talks, and I'm sure loads of you have heard this or maybe done it or not, but she transformed and changed her life with writing 2 eulogies. Carried on doing the same old thing you're doing now. Exactly the same old, don't take any risks, just carry on doing the same thing, and then write the most ridiculous eulogy, where basically you've just gone out and didn't care because you knew you were relentless, you were unstoppable, and you go and write that one. I mean, it was a great interview. She literally, I think within a week, divorced her husband. She got rid of the job, sold her house, and she became what she is. Well, she's an international Guinness record holder she's a rower. So she's rowed 5 oceans, a phenomenal lady, this little thing like that. And what a great story. So I would recommend everyone just to write your 2 eulogies.
Yeah, it's a bit dark, but actually I had Paul McKenna on my show about a week ago. Does everybody know Paul McKenna, hypnotherapist? Yeah, legend. And I asked him that. I said, what's your eulogy? What will it read? What did you do on this planet? And it was like an hour later, and he was like, so you're saying I'm dead, right, Brian? And I was like, yeah, but what will it say? And I remember even Grant Cardone said, they're not going to write about my money. They're going to write about my impact. Yeah. And Paul said, what I try to do is ask my 90-year-old self what I should do. And he said, I asked that guy to give me advice as my younger years. And that's something I think everybody should reflect on. What would your 90-year-old self tell you what to do? Would they tell you not to do these things? Or would they say, just go for it? And I always tell people when they say, I'm too old to do X, Y, Z, I always say, call up you 10 years from now. Right? So say I'm 47. I call up my 57-year-old self and say, I'm too old to run an Ironman. And my 57-year-old self, are you kidding me? I would kill to be 10 years younger. I'd kill to be able to have that much more time. I would do it. So, yeah, it's a great way to just show yourself it's time to pull the trigger and design what you want about your life. It's the most important thing. I always ask people on my show this question about advice to your 20-year-old self. And I wanted to ask you, because you've had money and lost it. You've created this whole thing. It's going to get even bigger. But if you could go back to 20-year-old Bernardo and give that young man a bit of advice, what would you tell him based on what you know now?
I suppose a lot of it would have been to maybe learn more, maybe surround myself with the right people. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many of you. I think, as you said, things are changing. We're understanding the importance of, empowering and learning more now than we did when I was 20. But, I read all the greats, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, all the greats. So I was quite interested and inspired about that. But I think what I would probably advise a 20-year-old me would be to be a little bit more financially savvy, to maybe take less risks, because I took a lot of risks. But then make sure I surrounded myself with the right people, the right team. Not that I didn't, but I'm saying I definitely have an amazing network of people now, and I could have probably done that better then. But apart from that, I just think that whatever you do in life, I've always been a problem solver. And obviously, one of the things that I understand is linked to that is kind of being resilient. So I know it's an inner strength that I have within me. The moment I fail, the moment that something's happened, or the moment the shit's hit the fan, I have to. I just can't do it. I might have a bad day, and I go to bed, but I have to get up and start looking at the solution. So I have a lot of people that start discussing problems and what's happened and where we are. Okay, we know that. We've already had that discussion. It doesn't help me. I can't do that. It's already behind me. So I just can't. So I have to be looking at the solution. So be a little bit more solution-driven is something that I would probably advise myself and pick myself up quicker. And I was pretty quick. But I suppose it came with training. I'm NLP trained. I've trained with Paul. So I've got some skills that I didn't have before. And time, you need time. I'm obviously in the right place, right time now.
If you're interested in watching the video content of this interview and many others, or interested in learning from world leaders and teachers, go to www.thebestyou.online.
And on that same note, best advice you ever received could come from a parent or come from one of your mentors or something you heard over the years. But was there a piece of advice that stuck in your mind?
It's a difficult one for me because, and I really don't want to sound ungrateful, like I've done it on my own, because I haven't. I've read all the greats. I really have. And I've attended many courses and I've interviewed so many people. So, but I don't know. I mean, the challenge I had, my dad died when I was 15. So that had an impact, I know personally for me, because my brother was 7, my mother was very young. So I was always responsible. I was always in charge of the football team. I always took responsibility. I did really crazy, amazing things, but what it was is that it literally triggered something in me where I was always looking for the father figure. I realized with many years, it wasn't the old days where I didn't know what psychology was. My brother never had anyone helping him, so we never had any support that you would probably get now. So I spent many, many years, probably around 10, 12 years, looking for a father figure. So either my partners or the people I worked for, I was always looking for the father figure. And I never actually got anyone that really helped me, that pushed me, that took me underneath their wing. It just worked out the wrong way, really, if anything. So there was a day, really, I think, when I had my own family. My wife was, I was 26, my kid was 15 months, and then she got pregnant again. And then all of a sudden I realized that I'm the father figure now. I have to take responsibility for my own kids. So for me, it's been more about turning points, I think. That's put me on different paths. I can't say that I've had someone, but obviously, having been Richard Bandler's promoter for 10 years, obviously, promoting him for 10 years, being surrounded by the man, twice a year, I've got phenomenal knowledge and expertise when it comes down to either communicating or having the way I think very clear. Is thanks to Richard, obviously, without a doubt.
What advice do you give to all these people, especially some of them that want to maybe be on this stage in the future? Because a bunch of people have already come up to me and saying, I'm thinking about being a speaker. I don't know what to do next, or I'm nervous, or I don't know if anyone cares about my message. What do you tell them if they want to get out there?
Well, I think it's about it's about what we said before. It's about taking action. I think ultimately there's always going to be a reason why. You're always going to find a reason why you can't do it. I mean, excuse me, if you can't plan a talk and get yourself promoted within a year, seriously, what are you doing? Anyone and everyone can. So you've got to take action. If you have something within you, if you have a purpose in life,
whatever that may be, to help, to inspire, to help someone find their truth, their path, whatever it is, you need to share it. You need to share it. You're obliged to share it. And you will regret if you don't. So take action, because it doesn't really take that much. And it's only that fear that's holding you back. And you've really got to see what you can do. And you can go and speak to any of the speakers and the buzz that we get when we connect and meet with people. And we do it because of love, So it's been beautiful for me having so many people coming to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's what it is. It's the most beautiful experience. But it's to do something that you're truly passionate about, something that you truly have purpose. But you've got to take action. The world is seriously bummed up. I'm going to use the word. But we need leaders. We need to change. I think what we do, this personal, professional growth industry, we hold the flag of change. We really do. We know we can't leave it to educators, politicians. We can't. So we need to hold this flag of making a difference and making sure that we're taking and addressing the things that is happening in the world. There's a lot of things going on. Slavery, global warming, inequality in work, you name it. So we need to step up. We need to get and connect and get this message that we're doing here to more and more people.
Yeah, and just start small, I would say. You can start with a live Facebook. You can start with a vlog, get up in front of 2 people and 3 people, but just break it down.
Yeah.
We need these leaders. We need you to get out there and do it. And again, you're going to snap your fingers. It'll be 30 days. It'll be a year. The best you will come around and you'll be like, oh yeah, I was going to be a speaker. And so life goes by fast
really
unless
fast.
you really take that action. And again, what are you scared of? It's funny because like a lot of my students, I get them to do 10 vlogs in 10 days. And I get them to post it on their Facebook page. And they're terrified. They're scared of people they don't like, of what they're going to think. And it's just like we suffer from this social phobia. And most of the times when you actually get up there and put your messages out there, most people will say, wow, that's really amazing. I like that. Tell me more. It's just about getting out there and starting. And so what are the plans for Best You next year? What are we expecting? You're going to be back in this space?
Yeah, we're going to be back in this space 14th and 15th of February. Literally the same week, Friday, Saturday next year. We're pretty much going to take the same space again. I mean, I think the plan right now is to really, we can grow this show a little bit more. So we're probably going to grow it a little bit more, but I'm really interested in starting to see how we can get into other countries and start expanding the idea and the concept of the Best You Expo and provide all these speakers and all these exhibitors multiple platforms around the world. But what I want to create a community of like-minded people. And if the demand is there for us to do a bigger show, I'll do it. It's just I've taken so many risks. It's taken me so much effort, energy, money to build this show. And I swear to God, I wanted to give up so many times. Last year, my staff, they're probably standing around here and think, what is he up to now? What is he thinking now? And I said, I'm not doing it again. That's it. I'm not doing it again. Because I just felt it's just too much work. A lot of people, I'm sorry, very ungrateful. And people that don't appreciate the work and the energy that we put into this and the love that we put into this. And I thought, I would rather not, because I'm losing money, and I can't carry on doing this. And then 12,500 people showed up. And then, so the message I got was, Bernardo, we get you, we get it, okay? And I think you can see now that more and more people are getting it. So it's been worth the effort, it's been worth the work, it's been worth me sticking at it. And this is only the beginning, man. We're scratching the surface.
Well, look, every one of the greats had a moment like that.
Yeah.
I had moments like that, and all of the people that you've seen on my show all had moments where they wanted to quit. These aren't some kind of supermen or extraordinary people. They're ordinary people just doing extraordinary things and pushing through a lot of that resistance, to make these things happen. So I'd like to give you a big round of applause for pushing through.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.